chapter 18. I'm going to start at verse 9, and it reads, When thou art come into the land which the Lord Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai thy power giveth thee, thou shalt not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. Verse 10, There shall not be found among you any one that maketh his son or his daughter to pass through the fire, or that useth divination, or an observer of times, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard, or necromancer, which that's somebody that pretty much deals with dead. You got a abominable act called necrophilia. I believe that's what it is, where you got individuals that like lay with corpses. Lay with them. You got to be bugged out. You know what kind of demons you? If we told not to even touch the dead, you know, for all that do these things are abomination unto the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and because of these abominations, the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, thy power doth drive them out from before thee. I want to start off by giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Chakot Espokatam. I say double honors to the elders, to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. Peace and salutations to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I say shalom to the Akim and the Aquath of the listening and learning, Lord willingly. This is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations, but subscribing to this truth. To you, I say shalom. It's the brother Yahweh coming at you with another lesson through the Spirit and through the power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. And this lesson is pretty much inspired. Well, not inspired. Well, it is inspired. So like I told you, I had like 3 hours of sleep. It's inspired through the Spirit, it's inspired by the elder Yahshua. Through the Spirit, or the Ha-Rachakodash, the elder Yashawamba from Dallas made mention of inauguration, augur, and whatnot. And I happened to be going to the library to do something. But long story short, I seen this book. I was getting like books on the Bible, but where they keep the Bible books at is the same level that they keep all the other world religions, which you would think they would have it in a separate area. This is our main library. Then I got a library near where I live, and it's nothing but Jake there. They don't even have a Bible section. This place is really like just fucked up. They got the security guards at the library with pistols though. And I asked them, put them on the spot just to see what the fuck they was gonna say. I'm like, what book is that valuable that he need a pistol? What happens in the library? And they all looked at me like, how dare you ask? I'm like, well, I want to know because you know what I mean, like, you a public fucking servant, right? But they all played the fuck out of stupid. So, and I know the brother was like, our library, like, if you wasn't familiar, I worked for I had like 1,000,001 jobs. You know what I mean? I'm like, I might be a Benjamite. Remember that Living Color skit with the Jamaicans that pretty much the Benjamites that had like all the jobs. They be like, I got 4 jobs. He got 3 jobs. You know what I'm saying? And try to make some fun or have some fun out of it. But I worked at a spot, and I come to find out, like I did a construction job. Come to find out, it's a lot of underground tunnels under Cleveland. If you wasn't aware, I worked at the convention center because they spent all this money on the convention center downtown, and I worked in there. And like it's like the bigger floors is at like under the ground. They go like 3, 4 levels under the ground, and it was certain areas that would access other areas where they would be like where they were like locked off. But pretty much they say like if something happens, you can go under City Hall and you can reach different buildings because it's like it's a pathway under there. You know, like we got a salt mine in Cleveland. You know, and people that work there, I've heard pretty much they say it's like another city up under the ground. So it's a little bit of you know useless information. Well, I mean, depends on if you learned anything out of it. Depends on if it's useless in your mind. But there's a point I was gonna make with all that. But yeah. So pretty much, what's that? Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and talks about no new thing under the sun. So left hand magic has been being used, in many different cultures. You know, and it was being utilized in Esau's kingdom. And that's probably, like I said, when the elder was bringing out, you go into the word augur and then auguration, because pretty much, that's a ritual, and the president probably takes on a whole bunch of spirits. You know what I mean? He becomes a diviner of the signs and symbols. You know, uh, you know that was set up with ancient Rome. And then certain definitions say, sorcerer or witch. You know, so. But it tells the scripture tell you in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 18, what I just read. It says for us not to partake in these things. But 2/3 of Israel have always been so bugged out that they've always want to be like the other nations. You still got that to this day. You know, like with the Wu-Tang Clan. But the thing is this, like you had Jake that made Moab great. So I don't know if you want to say that it was Jake that taught them the arts, or how but the scriptures do say that Jake is the former of all things. So I forgot exactly where I stopped at in this book. I know I'm on page 9, and it was going into. It says the Old Testament also contains the most notorious condemnation of witches in ancient times, one that undoubtedly condemned tens of thousands of witches to death across Europe, and to a lesser extent in the United Kingdoms and the North American colonies during the mass persecution of the burning times. This is the command in Exodus 22 and 18. Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live. The King James Version of the Bible, first published in 1611, that's the spirit, certainly says this, but other translations say different things, including you shall not tolerate a sorceress, because again, you got these different revisions. And whenever something is revised, they can take and add to, That's why it's nothing like the original. And, I was thinking about this because when pretty much everything go digital, well, real true knowledge is going to be lost because they could change things at whim, you know. You got to think about that. Like whenever something is revised, is reordered, and like I said, they add to and take from. But like I said, when it's digital, everything will be, you know, that's just like I got a version of the Apocrypha on. It's kind of like I got a Cambridge Bible that's I found it when I was homeless. Matter of fact, and, I've been carrying it ever since. But it has the Apocrypha, and it's like written in like an NLT form. Well, I got an app like that, and the thing is though, like I was reading my children Tobit, certain chapters of Tobit in the book on the app is not as long, so they pretty much is omitting stuff. Bear with me. Not being permitted to survive. Unfortunately, all we know about Merc Chef is that they were women, not men, who practiced some form of magic, but we're uncertain exactly what kind of magic. Some academic debate also exists as to whether or not suffering a wish to live, or the even milder, not tolerated sources. That's Esau. Not tolerate. How the fuck you say you're supposed to put a witch to death? That's what scripture say. So not tolerate. Get the fuck out of here. That's Esau. Literally, man, that thing motherfucking the devil. It says And that's Esau's mindset with the scriptures tell you you're supposed to put a homosexual to death. The Bible says that. Yeah. Because look at the mindset it's gonna bring. It's not a lifestyle, it's a death style. Yeah. Because they, with understanding, you understand that mindset will corrupt other people. So you cut off the physician, cut off the lung disease, roughly paraphrase. Because now it's looking to the point they want to invite it into your household, and something wrong with you. That's how you know how fake this place is. Like literally, it's supposed to be built on the scriptures. So if it's really founded on the scriptures, then how are we at the point in time, or why is the world the way it is now? Because it never was founded on the scriptures. And then you have people that don't really have a true understanding of the scriptures. That's why, like I said, when you really sit back and meditate on it, you see how profound and how much of an important job we have as men really trying to break down the scriptures to these people. Because, again, I may mention of it in another video because I was watching the lesson that the brothers did in Cleveland. And, you know, pretty much they want your spirit, they want you pretty much in a position that you completely reliant on the government. So they rather bring hopelessness to a world that's already fucked up. So for those that don't have any hope in nothing but besides Esau, Edom, and the scriptures tell you, "Cursed be the man that trusteth in man." Oh yeah, you're gonna be fucked. What she say in the movie Constantine? She was like, pretty much, she told Constantine, "You're fucked." You know what I mean? Like you in a fucked up situation. You know what I mean? Like, I was watching a video about the elder Uriah. He said we all in a sticky situation. Because it's deep. Like he said, you didn't understand what you were signing up for when you signed up for it. I'm gonna tell a quick testimony. When I had, the Lord took me to my testimony. I had a vision of a big ass gigantic angel, right, over me, and I was so fearful I wouldn't even look at him in the eye, but I could feel his presence. I mean, in my mind's eye, I could see him. It was a dream, and nothing was said, but through the spirit, I automatically knew. He never said it was gonna be easy, and that was, it's a judgment if I don't do it. You get what I'm saying? That's why I always say that the Lord, the elder brother, he was like, say for instance, you literally spending all millions of dollars for your son to go to an Ivy League school, and then he off there fucking up. He out there partying instead of being into his studies. He said, then he fuck up where you got to spend more money again, or in his mind he think you supposed to do it again. He said you gonna be mad as hell if you gonna want. He said your punk ass son. That's funny as fuck though, because when Jake be feeling like that, they be seeing. I remember I don't have no man child. They broke the mold with me. I came to the realization pretty much when my dad died. I got cousins and uncles, but I pretty much like none of his sons. Well, the only out of the boys, only man. One of my brothers has a boy child, but his boy child only had girls like me. So pretty much we killed off my father's line. Salakia. It says, so I was like, damn, that's deep. Because I was telling my sister about it, I was like, damn, that's deep, because pretty much he isn't going to have a male heir to carry on his name. Now, there's other, you know, members of my carnal family that going to live on whatever, but, my immediate family is no male heir to carry on the name. Once a woman has a child by, like when I marry off my daughters, when she have seed or when the man plants the seed in them, well, I always tell my children, what I mean, like being honest. I tell my children now, I don't think y'all get married. You know what I mean? Like the fuck. This how focused I am on it. I say, shit, if the world like this now, I don't see y'all get married. You know what I'm saying? Like the fuck. But if they was to get married or whatever, pretty much, you know, the children they bring into the world, they wouldn't be of my father's bloodline, my bloodline. They would be creating another old tree. They'd be of what, because you are what your father is. Salakia though says some academics debate. I read that part. Bible historians estimate that if Moses or a Moses-like person ever existed, this would date the book of Exodus to somewhere around the 13th century before Christ existed. Since the 19th century, academic opinion has shifted to view the book of Exodus was begun during the 6th century BCE. Just showing you how, like, you know, but then they'll tell you we can't say we the Israelites. Motherfucker, these people that's put in a position that's supposed to be so-called authorities, they don't even agree. So how the fuck you can't tell us what we believe? Like the elder has been making that statement lately, we putting in the claim. And that's what we're doing. You have no proof that those people in the land is the real Jews based on, besides you got people that's supposed to be in authority saying it. But the curses don't fit them in at all. We spiritual men. And then at the end of the day, they know what the fuck it is. You know what I mean? Like they know what it is. Esau is shooting from the hip. Just putting all his bags, his eggs in one basket and doing all this. Oh, because the elder was like, shit, the shit they doing don't make no sense. Like when you look at Amazon, remember that video of Amazon with the robot working and the robot fall out? I saw Chris Brown on the Kai Cenat show. Kai Cenat got a robot. I see they pushing that. I hear Kim Kardashian got one. Kai Cenat's robot fucking fell out. So, you know what I mean? Like, this shit is like a last ditch effort to try to hold on to something that, you can't, because they see that shit going down the fucking drain. Yeah, they might have some space age technology for real, but at the same time, like, if you put your trust in, like I said, that Amazon robot shit falling out was the funniest shit ever. I was like, what the fuck? You about to rely on this shit? You ever seen that movie, The Surrogates with Bruce Willis? That's another futuristic movie if brothers ain't seen it. Like, people didn't interact with each other. They pretty much used robots. And Bruce Willis was the first one to pretty much wake up out of using the robot. And start using, like, basically they had robots that was their avatars. They didn't interact with, like, people didn't interact with people like Demolition Man. So if you ain't checked it out, go check it out. It says during the 6th century, by the exiled Jewish community living in Babylon, and may have even been influenced by the earlier code of Habaru. See, not they trying to fuck with the authenticity of the scriptures. So I'm gonna jump past all that. So these are some biographies of some known warlocks and witches of ancient Rome and Greece and all that shit. It says Apollonius of Tyana. It says 3 BCE to 97. Oh, so the Lord was a lot. Well, hold on. BCE is before Christ existed, and it's between he was alive while Christ was alive. It says a wandering Greek philosopher, healer, vegetarian, and follower of Pythagoras. The earliest account of Apollonius was written more than a century after his death and claims that he had extrasensory perception, allowing him while in Ephesus to witness the assassination of the Emperor Domitian in Rome, a distance of over 800 miles as the crows fly. Lucius Apulisius. It says 124 to 170 CE, a writer and philosopher in the Roman province of Numidia, which is Algeria today. He was an initiate of several mystery cults. So that was the secret societies of those days, and the author of a broady, humorous novel called The Golden Ass. I heard of that. I did not know that was that old. In 1958, he was accused of using charms and magic spells to win the affections of a wealthy widow who he subsequently married. His accusers was the widow's family, upset that they had effectively been disinherited. However, Apolli Apuleius successfully defended himself, ridiculed his accusers, and also raised the interesting argument that his so-called magical operations were indispensable scientific experiments and religious acts of a follower of the mysterious cults. Candia, it says sometime described, it says just first BCE, sometime first century BCE. So sometimes described as Rome's first witch and believed to be based on a real person but given a pseudonym to protect the author Horace. She is first encountered as a maker and vendor of perfumes and love potions in Naples. As the account of her life progresses, she is revealed to be a hideous old woman who can poison food with her own breath and viper's blood. She also has a book of incantations and meets with fellow witches in a prototype coven to create potions made from plants growing out of tombs, owl feathers, toads, blood, and venomous herbs. Other Roman writers subsequently described similar characters in their works, including Ovid's drunken hag, Typesus, who could raise the dead and make the stars drip blood, and daughters of Ezekiel. So he has no understanding of the scriptures. Hermes Trismegistus. Hermes Trismegistus, a legendary Greek Hellenistic figure who is syn, syn, syncretic, syncretic mix of Greek god Hermes and the Egyptian god Thoth, but may have even been based on the 27th century BCE ancient Egyptian chancellor, high priest, and pyramid architect Imhotep. Hermes Trismegistus was said to be the contemporary of Moses and was credited with being the middle. I never heard that. I've heard this name, but I never knew that they tried to say that he was alive during the time of Moses, because contemporary means they were alive at the same time. You got contemporaries that's named in the scriptures. You had different prophets that weren't around each other, but showing you how the Lord sets up different prophets. You had prophets that were alive at the same time, but didn't do the work together. But one prophet was over here doing the work while another prophet was doing the work. I got an actual book that actually go into that. I got to remember where I put it. And that's the spirit, because before I left the camp, we got a group chat where you ask questions, and I asked brothers questions like that. I asked a question about that, what prophets was alive at the same time. Because, I always been fascinated with the history, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. It went from Roman and Greek to, the scriptures. So they trying to say that the Messiah was a magician. Media, a sorcerer, and a priestess. Hey, that's the spirit, because I just did a video about media. So media, like Tyler Perry, Medea. It says Medea or media, a sorcerer and priestess of the goddess Hecate. Hecate is the god of witchcraft. She first appears in the legend of Jason and the Argonauts, where she uses her magic to help Jason win the Golden Fleece. And this is going to go into, she's a goddess of illusion. That's why you have media. Healing skills, it don't really go into the media thing. It says a Persian, Ostanes, a Persian magus who accompanied Xerxes' army during his invasion of Greece, although some versions say that he accompanied Alexander the Great on his military. Pythagoras. So, you got the Pythagoras theorem or formula, which is used still to this day. It says a Greek mathematician, the square of the hypotenuse, and all that from school days geometry. Now, mind you, they're considering him a sorcerer, a warlock. Says, and all that from school days geometry. Hiller, which makes sense though, because when you go into geometry, and then you got such thing called sacred geometry. Washington D.C. When you see, like, I forgot what brother made mention of it, but when you look at how America's set up, like certain cities, they're all set up a certain kind of way because it's all based on sacred geometry. They're utilizing spiritual energies. It's witchcraft, including the ability to be simultaneously present in two separate locations. The power of flight. Hold on. It says a philosopher who was also credited with magical powers, including the ability to be simultaneously present in two separate locations. Says ability to be simultaneously present in two separate locations, the power of flight, and a remarkable power of animals. He is said to have once persuaded a bull not to eat fava beans. Like Apollonius, he was a vegetarian. Pythagoras supposedly supernatural powers may be explained by the 20th century science fiction writer Arthur C. Clarke's third law prediction that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. He said any insufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's deep because the scriptures talk about Esau with his signs and wonders, which will be looked at as like miracles or magic to these copper tops, to the Goyim, to these Babylonians, you know, but because the Lord blessed Esau with technology, you know, and then like I said, yeah, he in a position that he went and he did a diligent search. He went back and looked at and archived and found out about the different systems of these ancient civilizations, and he pretty much took a piece from this one, that one, that one, this one, that one, that one, this one, and that's why you have current Babylon the Great, aka Babel today, meaning the land of confusion. Because when you take parts of this empire and that empire and that empire and put them all in one, what do you think is? That's just like when the elders brought out about a woman when she's dealing with multiple men. Them women that like be hoes like that and got all them different like, especially like okay, for instance, like a woman that got like 3 or 4 different baby daddies. Them be the most bugged out bitches. Because once a man put a semen in a woman, that semen is like in there. And it cut my dick. I told my demon that once, it cut her so bad. And I'm like, bitch, I got that from a female doctor, though. You know what I'm saying? I believe it was the beloved elder apostle Gabar that brought that out. Because it was a video that he played and then pretty much did a commentary on it. And the female was talking about how pretty much they, like, semen will go all the way up through a woman's body, all the way, like the semen would hide behind a woman's eyeballs. Talking about the dick is on the, yeah, and it makes sense too, because think about it, like when you dick a bitch down real good, she up there, the dick is on her mind. She's, it was a video floating around. The chick pretty much confronted dude at the barbershop or somewhere. He's somewhere, and she up there, I can't help it. I'm at work and all I'm thinking about is you. He ain't call her a bitch. He's like, that's your problem. He like, you done completed school. He like, I'm trying to get this bread so I can get the fuck gone. You up here worried about me. And then somebody was filming it secretly. But it was so funny, like I said, because like I said, when you do that shit to a female, like the elder was talking about a clingy woman. No, Elder Rogers was talking about that. He's like, you ever had that clingy ass woman? When you give her what she want and she can't, I don't like that shit. My kids like that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't like that with women, so it's kind of difficult dealing with, I mean, I gotta kind of come to it with my daughters, but I didn't grow up around a lot of affection, you know what I'm saying? I ain't about to keep on naming all these. Oh, they mentioned Simon the Magus. Then it talks about King Solomon, which King Solomon was mentioned in the scriptures, and King Solomon was doing, it's a book, and it makes mention of that, it's a book of witchcraft called King Solomon is also associated with 2 famous grimoires, or books of spells and ritual magic, which they do have. It's the Key of Solomon and the Lesser Key of Solomon, which was compiled in the 17th century from earlier sources. The latter also contains the list of the 72 demons that legend says that King Solomon held captive in a bronze vessel. It even made mention of Tubal-Cain. And then it says, I'm going to read into this. It says, to round off Tubal-Cain's occult track record. I didn't even know that you got something associated with witchcraft and Tubal-Cain. But it make mention of Hiram Abiff with the masonry. And I made mention of that before. It says, according to one account, Tubal-Cain was also the world's first magician. Never knew that. An alchemist and the original black master of the witches' Sabbath. And in yet another legend, it is Tubal-Cain who gave Hiram Abiff one of the central characters in Freemason ritual, the instructions required to complete the construction of King Solomon's temple in Jerusalem. Tubal-Cain supposedly, you know what's so deep about it too? Because even the devils utilize some form of the scriptures with the wickedness they do. But then you got stupid ass niggas that'll sit up there and try to combat the validity of the scriptures. Ooh, the Lord gonna fuck these niggas up. It says Tubal-Cain supposedly fashioned the two 35-foot tall bronze pillars, Boaz and Jachin, which originally stood, which that goes back to Freemasonry too. But the two pillars is mentioned in the scriptures. Stood at the entrance to the temple. High priestess cards in the modern tarot deck sits between two pillars, one white, one black, marked B and J, standing for Boaz and Jachin, representing darkness and light. To round off Tubal-Cain's occult track record, Robert Cochrane, one of the founders of the modern witchcraft movement in England, formed a coven called the Clan of Tubal-Cain in the early 1960s. In some Kabbalistic traditions, Tubal-Cain's sister Naaman is also the mother of divination, a queen witch, along with the better known Lilith, one of the four original witch of Endor, which is mentioned in the scriptures. And it goes in the magic of in the Middle Ages, the traditional date given for the final decline and fall of Western Roman Empire, September 4th, 476, when Romulus Augustus was disposed as emperor. And then that's when you got the Byzantine Empire come. I gotta check it. I got a book on all the Roman emperors too. So as you can see, it makes mention of and they try to stretch it out too, because they go into not only Yahweh or they mention Jesus, and they're trying to label him a warlock, but Theorissus of Lemnos, 400 BCE, a Greek herbalist, healer, priestess, clairvoyant, and maker of potions and incantations, who was put to death along with the whole of her family for practicing magic. She was also accused of teaching slaves to deceive their owners. Given the importance of the slave economy in ancient times, this was probably the real reason for her execution. So it still went back to Esau Edom. So, and I wanted to just kind of put down. There's more. Oh yeah, because it's going into different individuals that was witches and warlocks in Europe, witchcraft and sorcery in the royal courts of Europe, and Boleyn. Dr. John Lamb. I remember Dr. D. That was like the consultant to the Queen of England. So ultimately, it go back to this devil being a fucking warlock and a witch. 2/3 of our people are into those things too, and that's why the Lord gonna destroy them. But right now we focus on Esau Edom. So this is the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 1, and it reads, Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach by our gathering together unto him. It's in the NOT. Be so easily shaken or alarmed by those who say that the day of the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua has already begun. Don't believe them, even if they claim to have had a spiritual vision, a revelation, or a letter supposedly from us. Verse 3, don't be fooled by what they say, for that day will not come until there is a great rebellion against the Most High and the man of lawlessness. So, we as a people, a nation, basically had to fall away. Yahweh Shai. First and foremost. And then, the man of sin or lawlessness had to be revealed. And we're seeing, the world is being presented who the man of sin, of lawlessness, the man of destruction, the son of perdition is, which is Esau Edom. Who's putting all the hell on the earth. I just did a video about Jim Carrey talking about he had to go back to working because that's fucking crazy too. Like, you a millionaire, but you got to go back to working. Showing you how this shit is all a setup anyway. Like that's just, like, think about that. Like, that just hit my spirit. Like, you could never have enough in this place. You just bust your ass. You like what's that, the scripture with the parable about the rich man that pretty much had it set up. He thought he could sit back. He gonna build my barns bigger and just sit back and retire and chill. And the Lord said, "No, you foolish. I require your soul. You're gonna have to have money generating in this place forever. You can't just never take a time off and lean back." Like Fat Joe said, lean back. You get, like, that's crazy. And then motherfucker want this system to pretty much carry on forever. Dog eat dog world type shit. Says, and the man of lawlessness is revealed, the one who brings destruction, which is Esau Edom, which is destroying the planet as we speak. And like I say, if you sit back and really just analyze and meditate and really pay attention to what's going on, you're going to have to come to the conclusion that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is the son of perdition, the son of destruction, the man of lawlessness. Verse 4, he will exalt himself and defy everything that people call God and every object of worship. He will even sit in the temple of the Most High, claiming that he himself is the Most High. He want to be worshipped as the Most High. That's why you had that devil Noah Huvel Harari making that statement about, we don't have to listen to Most High God. He's just a man in the sky, and we have surpassed the Most High God. The Lord got that man judgment. Like what he said in that movie Blood In, Blood Out. He said after his cousin pretty much shot him and he had to go back to jail. He said, damn, your own cousin did that. His bunkie said it. He's like, yo, damn, your old cousin did that, huh? He said, yeah. He said, his payback is going to be, how did he say it? But pretty much he was going to meditate on his payback. The Lord got a whole, a recompense for these fucking devils that, they cannot fathom. Verse 5, don't you remember that I told you all about all of this when I was with you? And you know what is holding him back, for he can be revealed only when this time. And you know what is holding him back, for he can be revealed only when his time comes. And that's how we know what time we're in, because this man is being revealed. The brother just did a video about that. I think it's the elder brother Michael Allah. He's talking about everything that this devil is being exposed. And a lot of things are being exposed right now. Look at what's all in the news, which you got the distractions with P. Diddy. But look at the government administration is being exposed. Well, they talk about, the elder Malcolm just did a video about the actual government did a research into it, and the news brought out about how pretty much like the CV was pretty much a manufactured thing. So it's a lot being exposed. Isaiah chapter 47, pretty much lifting up of thy skirts. This place is being exposed to these people. And that's why the nations are going to be upset and mad. On top of the fact that what they about to do, like with Trump trying to come in that bitch like the big bully. But the difference is now, and the thing is, Trump is that guy to set it over. Like, Trump pride is like beyond regular pride. He's so proud, he got Edomites proud again. Edomites up there on some I'm angry type shit. I'll fuck you up. That's how proud he is. And he gonna through the spirit, you know what I mean? Like, I feel speaking as a man, he gonna get this bitch started. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. Like, and I can't wait because I'm tired of this bullshit. The only thing that I get enjoyment out of it is I don't even get enjoyment out of my, I don't want to say it out loud because they literally ear hustling this shit. But, I mean, that's every blue moon because they more so fucking hard headed than they listening. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get so mad because I'm like, damn, I'm going through all this trying to be stirred and shit, and then you don't listen to me. You listen to these motherfuckers that literally get you for a couple hours out the fucking day. I wish one of them goofy ass motherfuckers would say anything smart. Bitch, the fuck, the reason why, you telling me how to rear my child. The fuck? If a child being abused, it's signs of all that shit. The fuck, my kids love me. You goofy ass nigga. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work, only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. For this lawlessness is already at work secretly, and it will remain secret until the one who is holding it back steps out of the way. Then the man of lawlessness will be revealed, but the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua will kill him with the breath of his mouth and destroy him with the splendor of his coming. Verse 9, this is the point that I want. This man will come to do the work of Satan with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. Verse 10, he will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction because they refuse to love and accept the truth that will save them. Verse 11, so the Most High will cause them to be greatly deceived and they will believe these lies. And the only way you're going to escape, you're going to escape is through the pure Salakia. The only way you're going to escape these things is through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. You see how deadly serious this thing is? That's why you got to be locked in. I mean, I've been hearing the elders and certain brothers make mention of that as of lately. You got to be locked in because this thing is deadly serious. And like I said, a stumble to the left when you need to keep straight can be your demise. That's why I brought out earlier another lesson about the straight gate. In 2nd Ezra chapter 7, where the path was so narrow that, pretty much you only can enter in order. So you can't go to your left or your right because it's fire on one side. It's too dangerous on both sides. So you're going to have to be perfectly straight. This thing got to be perfect. And Satan is ramping up. Like, I forgot who just was making mention of that. These enchantments about to come heavier. Believe that. So you better be locked in. So I pray this lesson was edifying for the Lord's hopeful elect. With that, I want to give all praise, all honor, and all glory to call Loyam La Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua Ba'ashem. I want to say double honors to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone who do teach and rule well. I want to say peace and salutation to the Akim across the four corners of the earth, pushing his truth with faith and with sincerity, as well as risking their lives and the freedom to do so, now more so than ever. I want to say shalom to the Akim and the Aqua, thought they're listening and learning. Lord willingly, this is edifying. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners scattered abroad in the land of other nations, appearing like the other nations with whom subscribe to this truth. To you, I say shalom. Till next time I'm able to come with another lesson, I say shalom, shalom. Shalom, Yasharallah, and Mawak Lapa Ball. Shalom.